Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. It is actually my birthday today, and this morning I got up and I was reading a quote, and I actually have read this quote almost every year for the last 5 years, because it always pops up on my that beautiful Facebook memory feed that we all love, sometimes hate. But it pops up, and it is actually from the perspective of an 11-year-old, and she's talking about how she doesn't feel 11. You know, it's her birthday, and she doesn't feel 11. She feels 10, and she feels 5, and she feels, 3 sometimes, and sometimes she just wants to climb in her mommy's lap and cry like a 3-year-old, but sometimes she feels like a big 10-year-old. But how really? She's not going to feel 11 until she's almost 12. And that's all well and good. And I remember feeling like that as a kid. But the fact is, we feel that way even as adults. Like, I'm 36 and I go, I don't really feel 36. There's pieces of me that are 12. And like, the other day I was dancing to some crazy music, and I was just like partying like a 12-year-old by myself in my room getting ready. And guess what? That is the 12-year-old Addison. And then sometimes, I cry like a 5-year-old. And sometimes I am the big, mature 35-year-old, since I'm less than a day into 36. And it's this culmination of all the years we've lived. And guess what? When we have partners, because I am a sex and relationship coach, so I do need to bring in that piece. When we're with our partners, they're the same. And we tend to forget that. We tend to forget that the other people in our lives are also this huge culmination of different ages and different experiences and different pieces of self. We want them to be the age they are. How often have you heard, you're just not acting your age? Well, guess what? We're also a culmination of, in my opinion, of past energies that we don't even remember, of past lives and spiritual experiences. And guess what? Before we even came into this body, we were. Just that simple, we were. And so there is that piece too. And we tend to not want to see that in others in our lives. And we oftentimes don't want to see that in ourselves. There's lots of times I'm like, why am I crying like a 5-year-old? I should be acting like a 35-year-old. And you have to go, well, that's that piece of me that needs to be 5 right now. And a lot of people in the spiritual community want to be like, well, you should just heal your trauma. And I've had lots of trauma, and I've had lots of trauma healing. I work with clients on this all the time. I do my energy work, which is quite amazing, and healing energy. I also do these action sessions, which can be quite profound. And the fact is, I love to help people work through their trauma. But at the end of the day, those experiences we've gone through in our lives have made us who we are. And so we cannot just like take some white out and white out pieces of our lives. We can experience different. We can go in and we can try to do that work and try to heal and even kind of envision it different and kind of go create some new energy in those areas. If you're deep into spirituality, you know that you can do some of that. But at the end of the day, there will always be a piece of you that's 5. There will always be a piece of you that's 15. There will always be a piece of me that feels like that awkward 13-year-old girl who had big Coke bottle glasses and was like super overweight and just was shy and quiet and just wanted to be ignored. And there's still that piece of me who, because at 5 I was quite the little personality, there's that piece of me who's like, wow, I'm here. And that, guess what? I use that almost daily on my live streams and working with clients. That piece comes out. So I bring this topic to you because I want you, first of all, to recognize these pieces in yourself and stop shaming them. Now, if it's unhealthy, like you don't want to act like a 10-year-old in your romantic relationship, but you can go, wow, this is a younger piece of me coming up. This is a younger piece of me coming up right now. And when you see it in a partner, you don't want to be like, you're acting 5 right now. That is not the way to do it, especially in an argument. But you can recognize that, oh, a younger piece of somebody else is being triggered. Or guess what? Why is it always negative? You can be like, oh my goodness, like I love that piece of him or her that still sometimes acts like a teenager and gets that excitement. That can be the best thing in the bedroom. Like when you're playing like teenagers and you're making out and you're just having a good time. Guess what? That's a beautiful piece of us that is still within each and every one of us. So I want you to really today, for my birthday gift, I want you guys all to really think about those different aspects of self. Where do you go to in different parts of your life? What are you ignoring that really could actually bring out? Can you bring that playful spirit out? Can you bring that inquisitive person? I remember being 25 and being so inquisitive. I was like a sponge of wanting knowledge and growth and expansion. And sometimes I need to tap back into that 25-year-old girl from 10, 11 years ago. So I want you to really today, guys, I want you to look at those different layers of self. And then also, if you're in a romantic relationship, I want you to think about those different layers of your partner as well. Because if you have kids, I know you look at them, you're like, oh, I miss that. You know, we all have those moments. I have nieces and nephews and kids I'm very, very close to, and I go, oh, I miss the 3-year-olds. But you know what? I love the 7-year-old. I love the 7-year-old, but I miss the 3-year-old. The 3-year-old was fun too. The 3-year-old was fun too. Why can't we look at our partners and be like, wow, they are a layer. They are a layer. And while some layers we go, okay, so it's time to do some healing work, to still love those different pieces, and to not ignore it and to not shame it, to do your work, of course, hence why I do what I do, being a coach, but to really just step in and love kind of those yourself, like almost like those Russian dolls, you know, those old Russian dolls that before we had internet, we actually had to play with things, toys and things, like, you know, the Russian dolls that you could just kind of open. We are like that. We are like the rings of a tree. And so to diminish that, to be like, no, I'm 35, I'm 36. I'm 36 now. To be like, I'm 36, I have to act 36. No, like, I'm 36, I'm 30, 25, 20, 15, 5, that whole thing. So, start looking at the people in your lives and being like, I wonder what part of them is coming out right now. I wonder what age we're in right now. That's not to say that we can't act like grown-ups. We can't step into our power and our knowledge and be mature, but to not forget those younger pieces of self, because those are beautiful pieces. And if we didn't have those, we wouldn't be who we are today. For the positive and for the negative. Both of them make us who we are today, and make your partner who they are today as well. So, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day on this September 18th, and I will see you again in another few days for another Addison Unleashed. I love you guys. Bye.